All right, so today we're going to talk about possibly the most important fundamental skill that we need to have to help improve our movement, improve our mobility, improve our resilience as a human so that we can accomplish our tasks throughout the day, and also whatever our goals are, whether it's sporting activities, gardening, anything else that we want to accomplish throughout our lives. And really, it all comes back to the fundamental skill of creating and controlling intra-abdominal pressure. This is super key because this is the foundation for our spinal positioning, for our hip control, our hip stability, all of those things. So I want to talk about this, and then we'll jump into ways to actually learn how to acquire the skill of creating intra-abdominal pressure, and then also work into how to train and develop some tasks, some exercises that we can do to train and develop and really harness this skill. So for us, with this here, we've got our diaphragm that pushes down, and then essentially that compresses our guts, and it pushes our guts out in all directions. Now we can use that to support the front side of our spine. We really want that pressure to now become a buttressing force to the front side of the spine. And here, this is our spine, if we look at it from the top or bottom. Now, that pressure really helps to support that front side of the spine. It also pushes into the abdominal wall and helps to support the spine all the way around. Now, with this, we can actually use 360 degrees of our core instead of just the 30 degrees that are really the backstrap muscles on the backside of the spine. So let's go into some really good ways to start learning how to acquire this skill, and then we're going to jump into ways that we can actually start to train it. And when we start looking at training it, I want to be able to maintain this skill under increasing load for a prolonged period of time and under faster perturbations, faster movements. Those are the areas where we really start to see reversion from this to now having to crank on the 30 degrees of the spine, the backstrap muscles, which actually starts to create more compression through the joints. And it also tends to limit our mobility as we need that musculature on the backside of the spine to lengthen as we do things like bending forward. So let's head over and let's look at how to start beginning to create and feel this skill of creating intra-abdominal pressure. All right, so we're gonna go over really good ways for us to start working on being able to harness that skill of creating intra-abdominal pressure. The biggest thing that we need is our breath and that function of the abdominal wall. Now, I'm going to use a little prop that I have here. It's just a little piece of TheraBand. You can use a belt or whatever you have. And I'm just going to go ahead, wrap it right around my low back and drop into an all-fours position. Now I'm going to let my low back just kind of get pulled down by the band. And then as I push up, I can really feel my abs doing the work. I'll let the low back pull me down. Now, instead of just crunching into the band, I'm going to take a nice deep breath through my nose. Try to expand my low back into the band. So now we're getting that pressure from underneath the spine, actually pushing up and creating that support, creating that buttress onto the front side of the spine. Now, the big key here is as I go to breathe out, not to let the band win. So now I'm going to go ahead again, nice breath in. As I breathe out, don't let the band win, and you'll feel the abdominal wall start having to do some work to support and create and maintain that pressure, maintain that support and that buttress. Right here, once again, starting to go just for a few breaths at a time. Really feel that expansion into the band. Once again, I'm not flexing into it. I'm just letting my breath do the work. Now I can make it a little bit harder just by coming up and really challenging my abdominal wall. You'll feel the abs and the abdominal wall really crank on. Once again, as you start to increase that challenge, do not let the band win. Now the other tool we're going to use, I just have what's called a Core 360 belt. This is a great tool. You can also just tie a band around you. This is a little bit more practical for some of the other exercises that we have. Now I can go ahead and breathe into it. And then as I breathe out, not letting the waistband win. Just breathing into it. Once again, as I breathe out, still keeping that pressure into the band. Now that's a great way for us to start working on creating the skill of intra-abdominal pressure. Now, next videos, we're gonna start working on how we can progress that, start training it into really owning it with increased speed, increased duration, and increased load.